Kia ora and welcome to Tarmac. I'm Dave.
I'm Matthew, and today's a really nice day. Well, not because of the weather or the fact that Italy won this morning, but it's because we're in a bright yellow Abarth 595 Competizione convertible.
That's right. Finally, I'm taller than Matthew and taller than a car. I'm so overjoyed. Come, let's take a look at this one. Now, those of you that watch our channel quite a lot, which should be all of you, by the way, you'll notice that we have had the Abarth 595 before. It did have the solid roof, so we've gone a little bit topless this time, but only with the car, thankfully. But just to recap, it is a small vehicle at 1.4 meters tall, 1.5 meters long, and I don't know, next to nothing wide. And it also only weighs just over 1,000 kilograms. So, but it does have a huge attitude, and I'll get to that in a moment. Round the front, plenty of aerodynamics, nice soft bumpers around here, helping the airflow around very nice, and some nice lower air vents, which is cool. And the all-important Abarth Scorpione on the front. I'm so Italian. But look, I can touch these headlights from side to side. There's not many cars that I can do that in. Let's look down the side. Our review model comes in Monza yellow. It's bright, it's cheery, it's delightful actually. And also, you know, it's got an Italian feel about it, and actually it makes sense for once, which is cool. Down here, 17-inch feet with these sharp teeth or tooths or whatever it is down here, and 4-pot Brambos, which is equally really good. 305 mils vented discs, and in here you'll see some Coney shocks to make sure you got a firm ride, and you really do. Moving further down, which doesn't take long admittedly, nice Abarth decals down here, really does stand out. Matte black door mirrors, no roof, again we'll get to that in a minute, and some 595 Abarth badging. Let's look down the rear. Look at this wide open space here. Again, we will get to this roof in a minute, but it's very, very cool. Look at that, very European, which is actually why these two bolts here, or 4 bolts here to either side, are exposed, because this should be a European number plate, but it's not. It's Kiwi, and we don't go for big number plates, you know, whatever. Another Abarth Scorpione badge there, and I believe these are LED for the tail lights as well, so again cool. 595 in case you forget what vehicle you're in. And also look at this boot. Watch this, when you go here, to give yourself that extra little bit of room to get in, this comes out the way, and then you can get into the boot, which gives you 185 litres of very little trunk space. Actually, if anybody's disrespect you, you're not going to get the body inside here, that's for sure. Further down, nice rear splitter down here, and quad exhausts that really do work. It's a record Monza exhaust, and that attaches straight through to the engine, which is actually up front, so let's go there. Now under this tiny little bonnet, and it really is tiny, is a 1.4 litre turbocharged or Garrett turbocharged engine that gives you 132 kilowatts, 250 newton meters of torque. Thanks to its pokey little size, it will go to from 0 to 100 in under 7 seconds, which is faster than Matthew's GTI. And also sips fuel at 5.8 litres per 100. But more importantly, look at the finish. Look at this Scorpione on the top here in this plastic top. Anyway, speaking of something with a sting in its tail, Matthew's inside, that massive interior there, and he'll show you all around. Let's go there.
Well, I can understand Dave calling the interior massive, because with the roof back, it certainly feels like that. I mean, just look at how much headroom I have. Anyway, besides that, while we're back inside the interior, firstly, the seats. They are, of course, the Abarth seats, so they have Abarth nicely stitched into the top. Plenty of perforated leather, so it's nice and soft. You get a bit of bolstering on the side as well, and a bit down the bottom. The leather here is incredibly soft as well, I gotta say that. The interior, well, it's relatively similar to the 595 hardtop. So you get the 500 badging over there. You get this panel in the middle, which can be specified in different colors if you like. You get this, obviously, elephant in the room sport button / turbo boost bar over here, which is childish but incredibly cool. Other things that are childish are, for example, this Alcantara on the top here. Just not needed, but again, a Lamborghini has Alcantara there, so should this Abarth. The steering wheel, well, that's got Alcantara on the top there, and even has a carbon fiber center marker there. How cool is that? I mean, just not needed, but just so much fun. Again, more carbon fiber over here in the steering wheel, and some more down the bottom, and of course some more Alcantara, so very nice to touch and hold. But unfortunately, that's not the same story with most of the interior, because it is made up of some very hard plastics. But I guess it's kind of the thing you expect with this car. It's just pure fun. In terms of practicalities, you do get some door bins, admittedly some, where you would probably want to put your phone, because if you put your phone in the middle there, it'll just come out every time you go around the corner. 2 cup holders down there, 2 USB ports, there's another spare space there, and something that's pretty cool is a traditional handbrake. While the handbrake may be traditional, the gearbox certainly isn't, because just look at this, it's buttons. But it does say Abarth, so that makes up for everything. In the interior, you also get a sport button there, which is the button you want to have pushed at all times. And if you're looking for more buttons to push, or actually touchscreen icon things, there's some more up in the screen over here. Though all this stuff in the interior isn't actually different to the hardtop 595 Competizione. But what is different is the way it drives with that roof down. So let's take it for a blast now.
You gotta love the sound of that record Monza exhaust going crazily through its revs, and that 1.4 litre turbo just doing its thing as much as it can, and the fact that we have to talk really loudly for you to hear anything that's going on, because you're at one with nature out here. At one. Damn, this is a fun car.
Well, actually, that's really just the theme of this car. It's just fun. It's just a massive laugh all around. Everything from the color to, you know, the interior, to the loud exhaust and
that gearbox.
And the gearbox, yep. It all requires a sense of humor.
But the cornering's so much fun. Oh, the Coney shocks. Anyway, let me just get this out of my system. Hang on tight. Love it. Okay, so there's a lot to like about this vehicle, and there's also a lot to not like about this vehicle. The best way I can describe it is it's like this beautiful puppy, doe-eyed puppy that's staring at you, just so lovable, so lovely, so beautiful, and then it pisses on your carpet. There's so much stuff that it goes, well, it's so annoying, and yet it's just so lovely. You forgive it everything because of just how much fun this vehicle is. I can't. That's the best way I can describe it. It's just got that touch of thing that you can't help but love, but damn, it's annoying at different times.
Well, that's probably about right, actually, because I could name a few things, like, for example, if you're about my height, then your legs won't be supported fully, or I don't know, the gearbox is a little bit jerky, or, you know, some of the door panels are a little bit iffy in terms of their build quality, and I could probably just go on and on, but actually I don't really care, because this thing is, you know, the noise from that quad exhaust, if you like, because there are 4 pipes, and the fact that it's only a 1.4 turbo engine, but you can hear the spooling, you can hear the fizzing, you can hear the exhaust popping. I mean, it's just, the soundtrack is just an experience by itself.
And the whole thing is wobbling, even on this road that's normally not so bad. The video is shaking, and it's not just because it's scared because of the way I'm driving, it's just everything just rattles, and you're at one with every bump and lump that's out here. The Coney shocks are great for the corners, they're just not necessarily great for I don't know, your back or anything.
Probably about right, actually. But that's not the only sort of name brand upgrade, if you like, that's on this car. So of course you have the Koni shocks, which Dave raves on about, but then you have the Brembo brakes, you have the Garrett turbo, everything is Abarth badged. You know, there's a proper sporting pedigree to this car, and of course to the Abarth brand, as we know, because Carlo Abarth originally started out with that, just modifying Fiat 500s into rally and race cars, and well, that's where we are now.
This is a racing car. Actually, it is a thoroughbred racing car, and for those that do go racing, you'll love it. It's so raw, so angry, and the other thing, taking this roof off just opens up every bit of sound. A motorbike went past a couple of days ago, and I thought it was in the cab. It's so loud and so close. But it's so easy, the way that it just comes off with one touch. It will come all the way back down, well, all the way back down, like the roofs of old.
Which, speaking of things of old, well, this is like a back to basics hot hatch, because if you look at other modern hot hatches, you know, they're large, heavy, they have four-wheel drive systems, and they sort of really have got to the point where you can't explore their limits on a normal back road. But with this car and its skinny tires and everything, you can, on a nice twisty back road, you can really push it to its limits, and it makes you feel like you're holding on for dear life. It really does that. It gives you an exhilarating sense of living, frankly.
Yeah, so that's the good stuff. The bad stuff, we're going to throw them in between. The fact that the steering wheel doesn't come out to greet you means that you're not in a majorly comfortable driving position for the corners unless you sit with your nose pressed against the windscreen, and I don't know, I would prefer it to come back to meet me a little bit. It's little things, but it does make a difference. The steering wheel itself, flat bottomed, is lovely. It's fantastic and feels really grippy. So it's sort of good, bad. It's Jekyll Hyde. It's nice, nasty. It's awesome. The seats themselves, lovely, really comfortable. As Matthew pointed out, the leather is really upmarket and really soft. So even though everything else is rattling, your bum's just beautifully poised and just sitting there. Could do with more support around the sides, because this does throw around the sides really quickly, but you know, again, it's naughty nice. The dashboard is digital and really good, especially when you put it in sport. It goes all red and angry, and yet the infotainment screen is modern to where it has been, but it doesn't even have a reversing camera. I know, first world problems, because it's not exactly a big vehicle to reverse, but you are compromised a little bit with the vision and things like that, and it does beep, so it does sort of give you that sense that you are getting too close to something, but everything's too close. That's the funny thing.
I mean, just look at us here, or even, you know, the width of the door and stuff like that. That whole, the way it's so small and so sporty, and you know, there's a little bit of slip to it when it's going around the corners. That's what makes it such an exhilarating car to drive. And I think in that sense, it's quintessentially Italian. It's, you know, loud, and there's a lot of theatrics and drama to it, and that's really why you buy it, because it's just dramatic.
It's so different on your driveway, and that's really cool. We've been out earlier today, well, actually today, and people just stop and ask, how is it drive? What's it like? You know, you don't get that from a normal hatchback. I mean, nobody asks you that about your GTI.
Well, especially not when I'm wearing a suit. But the thing is, even people driving by on the motorway, I mean, women were waving at Dave. That doesn't really happen.
No, that's never happens, actually. It's fun. It's oodles of fun, and like I said before, for all its quirkiness and its downsides, the gearbox, you really do have to drive it with paddles to stop nodding at everybody on the way through, but it's just so forgivable because it's so much fun and so unique and so quirky. A lot like him. So there you have it. The Abarth 595c. The C for convertible and the C because you can see everything. It's really cool. Yes, it's quirky. Yes, it's got its faults. Yes, it's loud. Yes, it's rattly. But, you know, aren't we all?
I mean, C just stands for cool here because it's, well, that's exactly what it is. And it's so lovable, you just forgive all of those things.
Oi. Thanks for watching. Please come along to the next one. There will be one along real soon. See ya.